The federal government has disclosed that more than 700 individuals have been convicted and jailed for terrorism-related offenses across Nigeria. Now, the Information Minister, Mohammed Idris, revealed this in response to Nigeria's designation as a country of particular concern by U.S. President Donald Trump over alleged Christian persecution. Idris stated that the special court established for Boko Haram cases has held over 7 sittings, securing convictions for high-profile suspects, and is now in its 8th session. The minister emphasized that prosecutions are ongoing nationwide for major attacks, including the Owa Church incident, the Nyanya bombings, and the Yelwata massacre. The announcement comes as the government defends its record against U.S. accusations, with global powers China and Russia expressing support for Nigeria's sovereignty. The U.S. Commission on International Religious Freedom continues advocating for conditioning American foreign assistance to Nigeria on demonstrated progress in protected religious freedom. Well, for a reflection on the federal government's anti-terrorism data against this backdrop of the security situation in the country and exactly how this data reflects the realities on ground, we have former DSS Director Mike Ejiofor joining me now. Thank you so much for joining the program. Lots of serious questions coming your way.
Thank you for having me.
Is the federal government downplaying Nigeria's security crisis?
I wouldn't say that the Nigerian government is downplaying the fight because you can see the government has been consistent in its effort to rid the society of criminality, especially insurgency. The minister has come out with figures of both those convicted and those undergoing prosecution. The only challenge I have with all these figures being real that today you hear 10,000 has been decimated, 1,000, 3,000 decimated. And the question is, Nigerians ask, how many are these people that continue to decimate in large numbers that they are not finishing? And I think the statements, even though the minister is making the statement on behalf of the federal government, it should be coming from appropriate channel. That is the military or the police should be issuing such statements because they don't have all the necessary information, and besides, they tend to politicize all these issues of figures, and we're not fighting a conventional war. We're fighting an asymmetric war. And the more you talk about, decimating these people, the more they get angry and try to show their potency, and they're still existing. So I don't think the government is downplaying it, but we need to put in more efforts, to ensure that we win the war.
And everyone's talking about these sets of figures. What's your opinion? Do you believe that the security agencies and the presidency, are they operating with these same sets of figures regarding the scale of this security crisis in terms of, the amount of attacks that have been foiled, the casualties, the arrests that have been made, those who have surrendered, etc.? What is your assessment of the transparency in the methodology of how the federal government gathers and presents this anti-terrorism data?
Well, for me as a person, I'm not interested in the figures of arrest or prosecution. All we want is security. And Nigerians will see the result. They'll see the evidence. If we're winning this war, there will be less attacks. There's no way we can completely rule out attacks. But when you are saying we're winning the war and the attacks are persisting, it's a contradiction. And that is why if you look at although it's a covert organization, the DGSS, he hardly comes out, the State Security Service hardly comes out, except when they have concluded their investigation and are prosecuting. The more you give these people publicity, the more people tend to know more about what they are doing. So we should not be giving them that publicity because that's what they need to use in operating. Let us just concentrate and get these people out of our way to ensure that Nigeria becomes a stable polity, a stable country where everybody will carry out its normal business.
Would you say that the publicity that is being given to them is, you know, the arrests and the attacks foiled and court cases, trials, etc.? Because some people might say that's actually showing that there's some work being done. Where do you draw the line between what is unnecessary publicity for these non-state actors and a showing of, you know, transparency, progress for the public in order to feel more safe?
I think the area we should come and give them publicity is when we are prosecuting, not that arrests have been made. The more you talk about arrest, like I said earlier, the more potent these people tend to show that they are still in existence. So let us be interested in prosecution and conviction of all the, especially the ringleaders. I can tell you that there are so many arrests, so many other investigations undergoing from the State Security Service. But the more you give publicity, it compromises this set of investigation they are carrying out. So I think we should concentrate more on convictions so that it will serve as deterrent to others.
And as a former director of the DSS yourself, is there any validity to some of the opinion that there's formal or informal pressure within the security architecture to downplay these negative statistics or to inflate any positive results?
Well, I'm not aware of that, of downplaying it. Like I said, what we're interested in is to ensure that we win the war, to get people. But I doubt if anybody will try to downplay whatever troubles we're facing. Rather, like I said, we'll rather go and downplay the activities of these people because they thrive on publicity. So the more publicity you give them, the more potent they become. So let us seize that oxygen of publicity we are granting to these terrorists.
Well, it also seems that publicity or not, the terrorists are going to do what they do, which is to terrorize large swaths of people and remove them from their land. What are the national security implications when, and I'm talking about the data issue now, the data that we've been receiving, when citizens perceive that the government's data is either misleading or not true, what does that portend for the national security implications of the country?
Yeah, I think we're going around the question again. Let us not talk about, the publicity, but I think the media and the Nigerian general public should also downplay the activities of these terrorists, like the circulation of all these gory pictures, when they come out, we should downplay it because it touches our sensibilities. It touches on the morale of the society. And they are interested in circulating such gory pictures. We should not help them to begin to circulate them. But I don't think on part of government they should be downplaying this because it's a serious threat. And like I said before, the budget for this year is the highest ever. That will show you the commitment of government on tackling this insecurity. Highest so far, about 10% of our total budget for this year is on security.
So which is it, Mr. Ejiofor? Is it that we should downplay it, just like you said, the media should be downplaying all these gory images, but you also said that you don't believe that the security agencies downplay negative statistics. So which one is it?
I mean, both from the part of government and the part of the terrorists. We shouldn't they thrive, their oxygen is publicity. So we shouldn't be giving them we should downplay the activities while government is concentrating on efforts to win the war. So we shouldn't be giving them that. That's the point I was trying to make. We shouldn't be giving them that publicity.
Well, international bodies and think tanks, They're often the ones that come up with some of this data. They present the data like the Global Terrorism Index. It differs significantly from the data that Nigeria generates and the official narrative that we want to push, whether or not it's downplaying in order to keep the motivations of the terrorists at bay. What is your view on this discrepancy? Which data source do you believe is closer to the truth?
Well, the data coming from international community, is based on their own records. And our data is based on our own records. So it depends on what source the data is coming from. But the most important thing is, has there been any reduction in attacks? That's what should be concentrating on. You take over a period of time, maybe 3-4 months. What number of attacks have we recorded? What number of casualties have we recorded? In fact, on our own as Nigerians, we can continue to keep this data to compare with other international community, because the international community on its own part will try to see what they can do. There's politics in all this data collection, both on to discredit government and give more energy and oxygen to the terrorists, and also at the same time playing out on the part of the terrorists, giving them more publicity. So there should be a striking balance in between the two in terms of data collection and information dissemination.
Well, again, since you are in the position to answer this more accurately than those in the media, have there been any reduction in attacks in this administration?
Well, you agree with me that there has been a reduction, but we're not there yet. The attacks we have, we will still witness attacks, but there's a reduction in the series of attacks. But like I said, we are not there yet, and we'll continue to make efforts on part of government to ensure that it's reduced to the barest minimum. Because there's no society you go without criminality or this. Don't forget that terrorism is a global war. It pervades within the whole geopolitical, West African sub-region, the Sahel. So it's not peculiar to Nigeria. So what it is, our interest will be our national interest to see how we can curtail the threat in our own country. And we cannot do it alone. We have to be a joint effort with other countries within the sub-region.
So would you suggest the United States stepping into the fray, as we have heard United States President Donald Trump discuss putting boots on ground in Nigeria to help with the security challenges? Is this something that you recommend?
Well, you see, I've appeared on this program the day President Trump made that statement. There's nothing wrong with Trump coming to assist Nigeria. He said he was going to root out the terrorists. But Nigeria is a sovereign nation. You can't just come and invade Accra. I think there should be a collaboration between the United States and Nigeria. A collaboration where both governments diplomatically can come together, and they offer us the technical assistance, the technological assistance we need to route out this, because nobody is happy about it. People are talking about, that's we also have a problem. When you talk about genocide, every Nigerian life matters. Whether you're a Muslim, you're a Christian, you're an atheist, let's all stop the killing and move forward.
Mike Ejiofor, former DSS director, thank you for joining us today on Newsday.